Hey guys, thank you so much for stopping by the garden today. We're just going to go around and give you some little updates on what we've been growing out in the garden. We're getting into May here in Florida, Central Florida, Zone 9B, which is a really tropical climate. So we have a lot of humidity, a lot of pests coming out right now. We're in the 90 degrees and we're going to be like this till about October. So we can only plant certain things in the garden. Now, carrots do okay. They're finishing out. This is a big tote of carrots right there. Then I have another one right over there. I have like 3 other containers of carrots. We have our tomatoes getting really big, which is starting to produce nice tomatoes on her. We'll go up close so you can see. Getting nice foliage. We're feeding with Bloom every other watering right now because she's really going to need a lot of Bloom nutrients, a lot of phosphorus, potassium, or you can go organically. You can top off with some nice fresh compost and back off on those nutrients a little bit. And you can see she's doing really well. We got nice healthy blooms. That little one in this little container is starting to bloom already, and he's only a few weeks old. He just popped out like a couple of weeks ago, and he's already got blooms coming out of his top. So we're going to start switching him to Bloom. Now this one was only getting grow right now because when seedlings are really small, when they first germinate, you definitely want to encourage that foliage to grow. But when you start seeing that first set of blooms, which I'm starting to get through the middle, you definitely want to start switching over to your Bloom nutrients because that's going to really help it bloom out, produce nothing but fruit instead of a lot of foliage. Now we're getting fungus. You can see that is fungus right there. And fungus is throughout the garden because we live in Florida and it's just this time of year. It's really tough to grow here in Florida in the summer. By midsummer I really can't grow too much, and if I am growing, I'm out there every day treating like crazy, batting the bugs, batting the humidity. But you know what? I love to grow and I'm still going to do what I love to do. I'll combat all the bugs and pests that I have to. Nice eggplant blooming. You can see we got 3 nice blooms on it. Look at that, the eggplant's growing on that one. We got another flower that just pollinated, and we have another one that just opened right there. So we have a nice purple flower. We'll have nice eggplant growing, getting big. That one you can see is getting hit by fungus already. You can see the yellowing on the leaves. That is a fungus problem right there. And they'll have a brown circle with a yellow defined halo around it. And that's how you know you're getting fungus throughout the garden. I'm going to go over to these green beans, check them out, and just go over some tips today. I'm so happy to be back with you guys, recording in my garden, getting things done. We're going to be planting some nice little flowers here. I just started a whole new flat of seeds, so we're going to be showing you guys that. My little green beans are starting to bloom here, so I noticed that the blooms were just starting to come about, the buds, right? They have little ball buds on them. So once I started seeing them, I went ahead and then switched to my Dyna-Gro Bloom nutrients instead of just the Grow. So these got Grow up until the point where they bloomed, and then they started getting the Bloom nutrients. And I do it every other watering. So I'm watering these containers right now every day. It's kind of crazy how fast they're drying out. And I just got to make sure my garden stays nice and healthy right now, nice and hydrated. It's so important to give them, when you live in a tropical climate like we do here, and it's so hot during the day, your plants will wilt to nothing. So it's really important to give them some hydration during the day in the morning before like 9:30, before that sun comes out and hits them leaves. Just water the soil. That's a little raspberry plant getting nice and big. Just water the soil, give it a nice little drink in the morning, and you should be okay. You know, it shouldn't wilt really throughout the day for you. We got our blueberry growing really big. She's starting to get some nice, healthy new foliage on her. I'm so excited about that because we really needed to get her growing a little bit. We've been picking blueberries like crazy. You can see all that new foliage. Looks so pretty. She's nice and green. We're feeding with Bloom nutrients, making sure that pH stays to normal, which is about, it needs to stay acidic for this blueberry. So she's at about a 4.5 to a 5. I usually like to keep her at a 5. You can see they lose a lot of their foliage when they start pushing out blooms. And since I've been giving her Bloom nutrients, since I see she's healthy, she's starting to push out new flowers. You can see the beautiful bell white flowers on there, which are going to turn into fruit. A little blackberry plant doing really well. She's just rocking out. Now this blueberry and blackberry is only 2 years old. So these guys are really taking off. We got a blackberry that's ripe right there. You can see they turn nice and purple when they're ripe. Look how pretty that guy is. And then the rest are red. So we're almost ready. They're all ripening pretty much at the same time. We got new ones coming out and we're looking really, really good. Now my watermelon over there, that's another story. This watermelon is not happy. So my fruit stopped producing, it stopped growing. I've been pounding with nutrients. I bought earthworm castings along with some that I had in my own garden that I collect throughout the garden. You'll see like earthworm poop. Earthworm castings is just poop. It's worm poop, and you'll find it beaded up on the soil line. And it actually looks like little black specks. It's dark and it's all bunched up. So that's stuff you really want to collect. And when I do have some around again, I'll definitely show you guys in another video. You can see this watermelon here. This is a sugar baby watermelon. We were growing it vertically. It stopped producing. Now this is starting to grow again. I noticed a little bit of growth on here starting, and we're going to watch it. We're going to see if it's going to grow anymore, but I don't think it is because it's been stalled out, hasn't pushed out any new foliage, any new blooms, and it's just not doing well. So we're going to see. I'm going to start another one just in case this guy doesn't make it, but we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. My green beans popping up. I'm going to plant another one right here. As you can see, I have one in the back there just popping. We're going to put another one up front. My little blackberry propagation plant is doing really well. You can see she's growing. We just got to watch that fungus, you guys, because it's so horrible right now. I mean, I combat this stuff every day. I see fungus on something else, and I do not want it getting to my beautiful flowers. Look at that gorgeous sunflower. And you know what I found out, which is awesome? I can look out here, and this sunflower head will change with the sun. So wherever that sun is, you'll notice your sunflower heads are pointing towards that sun. So she'll be pointing on the eastern facing side during the day in the morning, and then she'll go over to the west. You'll see it start pointing over to the west during the end of day, which is awesome. Little bachelor button's doing good, which I harvested some. You can just go ahead, pick your spent leaves, pick your spent flowers, get all this stuff off, this foliage, and then you'll be left with something that looks like this. And then inside these is little bachelor button seeds, which you can then harvest, save, dry, and then package up and store them for future planting. Let Mother Nature do it for you. Why plant new seeds out of the packet when you have them right here on your plants and you can take them off? Just walk here down to this garden bed, show you some updates. This parsley is going crazy, but it's getting attacked by aphids. So you can see just how big it is, but it's really got an aphid problem. So we've been treating. We just, you know, that's Florida, guys. You know, I grow here all year long, and the summer is just so tough. There's always something to deal with. There's always something going on. Look, see, I just sprayed for fungus 2 days in a row, these last 2 days. Look what's on there. Fungus. Yellow with that brown. Now sometimes this can look like chlorosis, which is kind of what this is doing, and that's a lack of iron. So what I'm going to do is kind of find some iron tone. I found that iron tone stuff from Garden Answer. She's a great channel, and she uses the iron tone throughout her garden to condition her soil, just to bring the iron in the soil, because if your pH isn't right in the soil, which I think my pH is a little high because we've been getting so much rain. So I got to get in here, drop my peppers down to a 7 where they're supposed to be. I'm sure they're higher than that right now, and they're still producing. They still got peppers on them. We got buds on them, new buds and stuff. My broccoli head's doing good. So, you know, things are growing, things are flowering, but I can tell that we're struggling a little bit. And that chlorosis, it's just, you know, basically your plant can't suck up nutrients, and it's turning the leaves yellow. So chlorosis usually happens from like a nitrogen deficiency and an iron deficiency. It can be either one, and it can be just a nitrogen deficiency, or it can not be iron at all. We just have to kind of treat and tell. One way you can tell, which is really, really great, in an easy way, just bring it to the store and get a soil test kit. You know, grab your soil, get a little, you know, vial or something, a little container, get some of your soil that's around your plants, and you can test that soil. This way you know exactly what's in your soil, exactly what you have to add. I just kind of do a guessing game because I garden on a budget, on a real tight budget, and I try to utilize what I have around here and just utilize my knowledge, my basic knowledge that I've learned over the years with gardening, and apply it to growing, you know, with anything I grow, no matter what I'm growing, no matter what flower it might be, snapdragons, lettuce, produce, succulents. You know, you want to always apply your basic knowledge to growing because it's going to help you. You know, water, sun, food, light. I mean, yeah, sunlight's the same thing. But you definitely want to keep an eye on your plants. And if you notice this chlorosis starting to happen, which can look like fungus, you definitely want to get some iron tone in there, bring up your iron levels, and make sure you adjust your pH, because usually your pH is off, and those nutrients, you can give a bunch of nutrients, but if that pH is off, your plants are not going to suck up the nutrients from that soil because they're locked up. The roots kind of lock up if your pH is too high. So an even pH, finding out what pH you need for the type of plant you're growing is really important. So just, whoa, look at that bee. Did you see him, guys? He was so huge. There's so many bees out here, and I found a snake. I found a snake outside, you guys, and that was not fun. So where was I that bee kind of disturbed us? Blooper, right? Another blooper video. But yeah, you definitely want to just try to keep an eye on that. Make sure your plants are sucking up the right nutrients they need. And if you notice that they're not, that they're lacking something or something's going on, they're not sucking up nutrients and you're pounding them, well, it's probably a pH thing. And you definitely want to adjust that pH as much as you can to bring it down to where it needs to be. Coleus likes to be at a 7. Really don't worry about pH and coleus and stuff, just produce and things like that. My sunflowers, you know, flowers like a good pH system, so you definitely want to do that. But my coleus, you can see, just grows great without it. I mean, I don't need to test that coleus at all. Succulents, they're really okay to grow without testing soil pH. And we're going to go to this little tomato right here, just to end the little video out here. We're going to show you my little tomato plant. So we harvested 2 tomatoes off of here already. We have another one, and we have 3 more ripening right there. So once this is done, we are going to take her down. I spread some more tomato seeds out on the ground here from a tomato we had that was kind of overripe. The squirrel got to it. He actually hollowed out the bottom of my tomato. So I just planted those seeds right up in the garden, raked them in here, and we're going to see if we can get plants to grow. And I know it's too hot for tomatoes right now here in Florida, but you know, I am up to a challenge all the time, and I want to see what happens. I want to see if we can grow some nice beefsteak tomatoes in the heat here. And that's it for the tour, you guys. I'm gonna get a lot more plants here to come, so stay tuned if you want to see more to come from Stacy Here We Grow Again. Thank you so much for stopping by, you guys. I just love hanging out with you, talking to you, chatting with you, seeing you. We got some nice little shots of daisies coming up in here that we planted, and we'll go inside real quick. I want to show you the inside. This is my Nephitis, so I'm moving things around in my lanai because the sun's changing. You know, we're getting into the summer here, and things are going to start burning a little bit. So I moved a lot of things here. This is my orchid. These are all low light plants. You can see how beautiful this orchid opened up. She's just stunning, isn't she? All her blooms opened, but a few. 1 or 2 didn't open. But we got all these blooms to open on her, and look how gorgeous she is. She's got nice purple tints on the back of the leaves. Oops, sorry you guys. Got some bromeliads growing with babies on the edges of them. More Nephitis. I got succulents. Bunch of succulents growing, doing really well. Except a few that I found that were rotted a little bit. You can see how big they're getting. Now I'm going to have to switch this back over to my southern exposure because I can tell that they're starting to stretch a little bit. So I need to find, you know, summertime's really tough because I have this tree on the southern side which hides my sun. And this is the western exposure, so these get like afternoon heat, which is just no good here in Florida. I mean, your plants will totally wilt to nothing here. It is not like growing in any other state. that's northern, in northern cold climates, because we are so tropical and humid here that your plants will really struggle in the afternoon heat quite a bit. You know, they just really like that morning sun for a good 6 to 8 hours. Everything, my sage, my pineapple, they all get nice morning sun for 6 hours, 8 hours, and then they get an afternoon break. And that's how I grow here. You know, you kind of have to grow and adjust to your growing area. What I do here might not be the same for your growing area. You might have to add a little more soil conditioner. You might have to water a little more or a little less. We're watering like every day here, not for my succulents. My succulents are like maybe every other day, twice a week. That's a little trailing guy. But we are watering quite frequently, a lot more than the winter. Winter we were watering once a month. We had no diseases, no pests. I'm finding pests and diseases everywhere now. So you just got to keep an eye on it, you guys. Check your plants every day. Make sure they look okay. You know, you might not have to work on every plant every day, but at least you'll know what they look like, why they're changing. You know, you can catch it in the beginning and definitely fix it. You know, if you need any help on growing anything, let me know. If it's something I've done, I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate every one of you, and I'll see you next time out in the garden. Bye-bye.